Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do to finish this up is make a new layer. So I have my layers tab open. You can either click this or you can go to window and make sure it's open there. And we're going to make a new layer again. So I'm going to click this plus and I'm going to go up there to that layer, right click on it, and I'm going to name this images. And I want the images to go below the text. So I'm going to drag that layer down there. Alright, so let's start putting in images. I'm going to put the logo in first, so you can either open it in Photoshop and copy and paste it, or you can go to File, Place, find the logo. It's called Nature Logo. And once again, I don't recommend clicking in here where other text boxes are and stuff because it can make your logo or your image get stuck inside of a text box. So it's kind of good to go off the edge of your page a little bit where you don't have anything, and then click there. So I'm going to take that logo and put it in the bottom corner, and then I'm going to use my arrow keys to just nudge it in the place that I want, which is somewhere around there. Now I want my text to wrap around that, so let's go back to the text. Well, wait, before we go back to the text, I want it to wrap around here, so I'm going to make a text wrap on that image. So you can do that over here in the properties. Right now you can see it has text going through an image. If I click this, it will wrap the text around it. Alright, now the only thing that's bad is it made some of my text come off the edge of the text box. You can see this little red plus. That means some of my text got removed. So I can either go over to the logo and I can bump it over just a little bit, and now you can see all my text is fitting. So if that happens, you either need to make the logo scoot over a little bit, not too far, or you need to make your text smaller so that it fits inside the text box. Okay, so let's go and put in our picture of our panther. So I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to find the panther picture. Okay, so you see what happened? I'm glad this happened so you can see. When I clicked on it, it went inside the logo box. That's why it's good to click away from everything else. So I'm going to undo that, Control Z. Now you see I have my little thumbnail. I'm going to click outside of everything else. That way it doesn't interfere with anything and it's on its own. So I need to move it over here. I'm going to drag it in the corner. Alright, now dealing with images in InDesign can get a little bit weird sometimes because you have two selection tools. You have the normal selection tool and you have the direct selection tool. The normal selection tool changes the size of the window of your photo. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that, but you're going to see it's going to crop off my panther. And I'll show you how to size the panther next. So I want the window of my image to be this size, but I want the panther to be smaller, obviously. So let me move that over. Now I'm going to get the direct selection tool. Click inside the photo. Now notice there's a big bounding box. See where that outline is? That's where the actual image is. It's that big. It's only showing up in the window, but it's actually this big. So I want to go over here in the corner, hold the Shift key, and drag it until it fits in there. It's okay if some of it's sticking out a little bit, but until most of it fits like that. Okay? That can get a little bit tricky sometimes when you're working with InDesign using the two different selection tools. So we're going to go back to that one. Now I'm going to put in the palm background. So I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to get my palms file. And this time I'm going to actually, instead of clicking off to the side, I'm going to actually drag a box where it's going to go. So that's another way you can do it. I'm showing you two different ways. If I drag a box, it will fit it inside there. Now notice it didn't fit it perfectly in there, so I'm going to have to go back with my selection tool right there. Whoops, cancel. And make this window a little bit bigger so it fits. So my window is big enough, but my photo is not fitting in there. So I need to go to the direct selection tool, click on it. This time I need to make it bigger. So I'm going to go on the corner, hold the Shift key and pull it bigger, and now it fits inside there. Alright, so there was another thing I did to mine. If you want to go back and refer to this, you'll notice that the text was readable on mine because I made this palm background darker so that you could read the text. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's go back to InDesign. To do that, I made a box over it. So I'm going to go over here and get rectangle and draw a box right on top of those palms. And I filled it with black. So go over here on the properties panel and appearance and click fill and choose black. And then over here where it says opacity, click on this and put it at 50. So 50% opacity. Now you can still see the, now you can still see the palms, but you'll be able to read the text when we change it to a different color. Alright, so now we need to draw a couple of boxes and then we'll go change the color of the text. So I had an orange box right here. So let's get the rectangle tool and go right in that space and draw a box. And right now it's filled with nothing. We want to fill it with an orange. So let's right click on fill. Now I don't want any of these colors that are there. Those aren't any colors I want. I want my own color. So I'm going to go up here where this paint palette is and click that, and then it gives me an option to pick any color I want, and I want orange. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And I'm going to get my selection tool. Oops. And I'm going to make another one of those rectangles right there. So let's get the rectangle tool again and drag a rectangle up here. And I want it to be the same orange. So when I want a color to match another color, I can get the eyedropper tool and it copies the color. So while this one is selected, I'm going to go click on this orange one and it made it match. And now we need one more box to draw, was this green box. If you refer back to the PDF, you can see I had a green box that matched the green in this logo. So let's go do that. Come back here. Get another rectangle, drag it to fit in here. Okay, and once again it's filled with nothing, stroked with nothing, but I want it to match that green in the logo, so I'm going to get the eyedropper tool, click on the logo. It didn't go. Let's try that again. Oh, I know why. Okay, so the reason why it didn't select the green is that the text is on top of that. So you'll see the text is on top. So when I was trying to eyedropper with the green, it was picking up this transparent text box. So this is why having things in layers comes in handy. Let's hide our text for a while. Now the rectangle is selected. Let's get the eyedropper. And now we click on it. Now you can see that it selected the green. So we can turn the text back on now. Okay, so we're almost done. We can go ahead and turn off the template. We don't need that anymore. Let's change these other text to white now. So let's get our text tool. You can click anywhere in here. You can just select one letter if you want and do Control A. And let's change it to white. So we go over here to Appearance, Fill, and in InDesign, paper means white. So click on paper. And then same with this. I'm going to click in this text box and do Control A to select all of it and fill with paper. Alright, so there's one other thing left to do, and that is to type your name down here on the bottom right. So I'm going to get the text tool, and you can just drag a small text box and type your name. I'm going to do Control A to select it all and change the color of it so that I can see it, and get the selection tool, over here, and move it. Alright, so that is all you have to do for your first article. There's one more article that you need to do and just lay it out the same way and do the same things. There's two things I want to show you when you're working with InDesign that are helpful. When you go up here to View, if your pictures look pixelated and they look like they're low res, make sure that you have on View, Display Performance, High Quality Display. If you don't have that on, what might happen is your pictures could either look like that or they could look like this, where so you can see how it's kind of pixelated. The pictures don't look as good. So make sure you have display performance, high quality display, and then you have really crisp images. And the other thing is, and you'll go back and forth between these things, is screen mode. When you have your screen mode on normal, you can see all your guides and lines and your text boxes and everything, but sometimes you need that off so you can see what your page looks like. So when you do that, you can see everything without your text box, so you can know what it looks like without all those lines. Alright, so this is ready to save. So let's go File, Save. I've already saved mine, so when you do a save for the first time, make sure you name it, assign 3 dash your name, and you can just put Panther and save it as an InDesign file so that you can edit it. And then go File, Export, and name it assign 3 dash your name dash Panther, because there's going to be 2 articles, and then choose JPEG and press save. I already had that in there, but I'm just going to replace it with this one and leave this on 150. You don't need to really change anything, and say export. And that JPEG is the one that you'll put on your Google slide so that I can grade it.